Hi, welcome back to the episode 2 of ARKSS Advice. A lot of students have this question: how do I prepare for the CAT exam so difficult when I'm also going through my college? In fact, some people will say, I'm going through college, I have my job. How do I even get the time to prepare and crack this most coveted exam, getting into the test of the IIMs, Excels, FMSs? Let me start with giving you how I'm going to talk about the 3 things which are important. First is, how many hours do you think is required or are required for cracking this exam called CAT? Considering that you are a very, very, beginner. If you're already, let's say, prepared something before, you will be far better off. Let's say you are an absolute beginner. How much time do you think you will take? We'll first figure it out that. The second thing is, having said that CAT is important, you want to go to an IIM, you want to get out of your engineering or a degree which will not give you the kind of career growth that you want, then why are we bothered about the degree itself in the first place? Are the scores in your graduation important? We will very briefly touch upon that. And the last thing is, how do we balance these two? I know the degree is important. I know once we figure out that the career is important, prioritization of CAT is important, how do we ensure then that we don't miss out on both? And when you graduate or when you are preparing for an exam like this, while continuing to work, you are successful in both. So let's start with a very simple thing. How much time do you think it is required to crack CAT? I will divide this into 2 points. The first point is making sure that the knowledge, the enough knowledge in terms of concept, formulae, background, all these things are intact for you. You cannot solve a quadratic equations question if you do not know what is the way in which you can find out the roots of that equation. Correct? Obvious. Similar is the case with a geometry or a time, speed, and distance or anything else for that matter. It may not be true. The same thing for, let's say, a verbal ability or a reading comprehension. We'll talk about that also. So here is my first thing. So the first part of it, of your preparation, is the number of hours, the amount of time, the number of hours you need to give to be good in making sure that your basic knowledge levels, concept levels, formula levels are intact. How much time do you think it will take? We will find out that. The second part of it is, how much time will it take you to write the mock? And everybody tells you to analyze the mock. So how much time to analyze the mock so that before you write the mock, you are ready for the next part of it. So I'm going to talk about both the things today so that you have a clarity. And I'm telling you, after this particular video, you will know exactly what to do. Whether you will do it or not is absolutely up to you. But I can guarantee you this, that you will be able to plan your preparation very, very, very thoroughly. Okay, before I continue, let me ask you to do subscribe to our YT channel, the YouTube channel without fail, so that many more such kind of videos which are very relevant to you, which are apt and probably where you don't know where to go to, that questions are going to get answered. With that, let's start with how many hours are required. So first I'll start about the basic requirement, the fundamentals, the concepts, the formula. Look at quantitative ability first. Quantitative ability has arithmetic, algebra, geometry, mensuration, numbers, and modern math. 5 areas. Within these 5 areas, you talk about arithmetic, 6 topics. Algebra, 6 topics more. Your geometry and mensuration, actually you can call it a 3 or 4 topics. Consider that, okay, they're triangles, quadrilateral circles. You have numbers, basically 1 topic, 2 topics. And we talk about your modern maths. Typically probability doesn't come in CAT, of course, permutation, combination, set theory, and the like. If you add them, 6 plus 6 plus 4, that's 16 plus 2, 18 plus 2, 20 topics. Each topic, I am expecting that for you to be broadly good at, you will need about 6 to 8 hours. 6 to 8 hours of solving things. 6 to 8 hours of 20 topics is 120 to 150 hours. Consider that 150 hours you will need for quantitative ability to make sure that all the topics, at least once, you know the concept. You are not brilliant in it, but at least you know the concepts, you know the formulae, you know the types of questions which come in, and you know whether you can solve it or not. Whether you really solve it or not is a different issue, but at least you will get to know whether you can solve it or not. So 150 hours for quantitative ability. Take logical reasoning, data interpretation. Together they have, again, 20 different types of sets: tables, bar charts, line charts, spider graphs, scatter diagrams, etc., etc. And the data interpretation, arrangements, circular arrangements, networks, puzzles, cubes, Venn diagrams, games and tournaments, and the like in the logical reasoning area. You're talking about 20 topics. Let's say you, to make sure that you are comfortable, make sure that you at least understand what is going on, you have to probably solve 10 sets per type of question. That is 200 sets. 200 sets. Each set will take you, let's say, half hour. I'm giving half hour because you want to learn. It is not about solving. It's not about solving in time. But even for half an hour, to a 200 into half an hour is only 100 hours. So DILR, you can, I won't say master, but you will be absolutely clear about what comes in your CAT and other exams with just about 100-hour preparation. So 150 hours for quant, 100 hours for your DILR. Now, the other thing, let's say, is your reading comprehension. The way I look at reading comprehension is you need to improve your reading speeds and your comprehension. And you need to read from various sources. It's kind of an eclectic reading you need to do, from business, economy, science, sociology, philosophy, whatever else that may be. My mantra for that is, even if you give only half an hour a day, and let's say you have 200 days to prepare, or 150 days to prepare, or 100 days to prepare, doesn't matter how many. So the number of days that you have, let's say you have broadly 150 hours, 150 days to prepare. So I am expecting 75 hours for your reading comprehension. Mind you, I am not even counting the tests that you're writing. I'm just saying reading. And then verbal ability. There are 3 types of questions, and I'm sure you will do a little bit of sentence correction, etc., and critical reasoning, etc. We're talking about, let's say you do 1,000 questions, each question taking you 10 minutes. That's about 10,000 minutes by 60, or not 1,000 questions into 10 minutes, 1/6 of a minute. 1/6 of a minute could be 1/6 of a minute. 10 minutes per. I'm sorry, my mistake. 10 minutes per 5 questions. 10 minutes. If you can do, even if you do 10 questions, even if you do 5 questions, even if you do 3 questions, you will do 1,000 divided by 6. That's about 140 hours. If you only want to do verbal ability with a lot of questions. If you have only 100 days, divided by 2, 70 hours. So in other words, I'm saying 75 hours for verbal ability, 75 hours for reading comprehension, 100 hours for your data interpretation, and 150 hours for your quantitative ability. 150, 100, 250 plus 150, 250 plus 150, 400 hours. This is for an absolute beginner who is very bad in verbal ability, not so good in reading comprehension, starting off his entire story in DILR as well as quantitative ability. Obviously, if you are comfortable with these things, this 400 become 250 or 300 or even 150 hours, depending on what is your level of preparation. That's 400 hours. The second part of it is the tests. Now, there are 3 things that I would like you to look at. Like, say, for example, Career Launcher gives you 15 prime mocks and 15 countdown mocks. That's 30 mocks, each of 2 hours each. Plus, for every paper, you will require about 3 hours to analyze. We will, in a separate video, look at how to analyze them. But 3 hours if I take it, 5 hours per video, 30 into 5, 150 hours. Look at 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21 papers. There are 12 papers. Each one again 6 hours, 5 hours you take. 12 5s are 60 hours. And then there are sectional tests that will give you 45 sectional tests, for example, from Career Launcher. Each one 40 minutes test and another 80 minutes for solving that. 120 minutes, 2 hours for 45 sectional tests. That's about, again, 90 hours. So 90 plus 60 plus 150 is 300 hours. So the total requirement for you will be 700 hours of serious preparation starting from scratch. If you start even today, when I'm talking about the middle of May or end of May also you start, or middle of June also you start. I'm saying end of May also you start. You're talking about June, July, August, September, October, November, 6 months to go, 180 days. 180 days is more than sufficient for you to crack these things. You will need about, on an average, 4 hours, but it will be more on a Saturday, Sundays, more closer when you get closer to an October and November, your time will be 6 hours, 7 hours. And at the earlier time, at the earlier stages for that matter, it could be only 2 hours, 1.5 or 3 hours per day. If you can plan this, you will crack the CAT the very first time. It is also important for you to know now, what should you do? Why is the CAT, the college marks important? If you look at IIM Lucknow, for example, they directly look at the 12th class score and the graduation score even before considering you for the shortlisting. So does an Ahmedabad, so does a Bangalore, so does a Kozhikode, and so does IIT Bombay, so does a IIT Kharagpur, and many other institutes. Some others don't look at it at the shortlist stage, but many good institutes, including, of course, the IIM Ahmedabads of the world, Bangalore's of the world, look at your minimum percentage of your degree, graduation, even before considering you to shortlist, whatever your CAT score may be. And hence, the college scores are extremely important. Not only that, if you prepare for college, when you go to your interviews, what else do you think they will ask you? They will obviously ask you your subject matter that you have done. What else can they ask you? They can talk about GK, but they can't talk about all the time what do you want to do in your future without understanding what have you done in the past. And the past is your graduation. Hence, my friends, you cannot ignore your college. And the third thing, how do I therefore manage both of these things? Obviously, when you go to college, 8 hours of your day goes away there, 8-10 hours of a day. Can you spend weekdays, Monday to Friday or a Monday to Saturday, at least 2 hours, that is 2, 6 or 12 hours without fail from among the 24 hours that you have? You want to cut down when you go to an IIM, let me assure you that you won't sleep for more than 4 or 5 hours. Why do you have to wait for going to an IIM when you want to study for 4 hours only or sleep for 4 hours only? I beg your pardon, 4 hours of sleep, when you can do that right now and still get used to it right away. You're going to die. You're not going to die, for sure. Let me clearly tell you this, that you are definitely not going to die just by sleeping less. You can reduce that. Then there is other thing. You can reduce your social media interaction, the amount of time you are on a WhatsApp or a Facebook or an Instagram or wherever else that you want to be in. More importantly, the amount of time you spend with your friends, cut it down. Tell them that it's half an hour I'm going to give you today. Not that you cut everything down. No, you won't. You will continue. But if they are your real friends, you will also understand that your career is as important to you as you are important to them, or they are important to you in that sense of the word. Lastly, your girlfriends, boyfriends, if you have any, explain to them, bhai, if I get into an IIM, you will be proud of me being an IIM grad. And saying that I am your boyfriend or a girlfriend will be even more better off than saying that I am a failed CAT guy. So please explain to them, rather than getting unnecessarily cheesed off about saying that, hey, you're not giving me time, kind of a complaint will therefore not come in. if you can make this happen, guys. The IIMs, the ABCs of the world, even the top 10 are come with a 25 lakh package on an average at the end of 2 years. And to get there, I think you can manage both. There are multiple people who have managed both. 35% to 40% of the students in the IIMs, Excel, FMS are freshers. If they can do it, why can't you? And we at Career Launcher are always available to you to keep giving you this advice to make sure that your motivation is continuous. Do subscribe. Do like this. If you like whatever you have heard, do like this YouTube channel. Share this with your friends. Make sure that the date that the person whom you're dating also watches this channel, watches this video, and do subscribe to us if you have not already subscribed to us. You will find many more videos coming. With that, thank you so much and see you in the next video soon.